So the first one says, I want to solve this inequality. 3 times absolute value 4 minus x, minus 2 is less than 16. So we'll start by, I'll just rewrite it over here. And then I'm going to add 2 over and divide by 3. When I do 16 plus 2, that's 18. If I divide that by 3, I get 6. And so here I have that the absolute value of 4 minus x is less than 6. And so what that means is I can say that 4 minus x is in between 6 and negative 6. And so that's how I would remove that absolute value there. And so then I can subtract 4 from everything. So I will get negative 10 and negative x. And then when I subtract 4 from that, I get positive 2. And then I can multiply through everything by negative 1. So I get 10 is greater than x, which is greater than negative 2. And so if I write that in interval notation, if I were to draw that on a graph, that would be negative 2 is here and 10 is here, and it would look something like that. So, all right, so that's the answer there. So it's going to be open parentheses negative 2, comma, 10, and then open parentheses there. For the next one, 46, I'm asked to solve this inequality. Absolute value of x plus 3 minus 9 is greater than or equal to negative 4. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. I get absolute value of x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 5. And so then from that, I can split that up into two things. So that either means that x plus 3 is greater than 5, or that means that x plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 5. Both of those have an equal to on there. And so if I subtract 3 from both sides, I get x is greater than or equal to 2, or I get x is less than or equal to negative 8 there. And so if I would draw that on a number line, I can see less than or equal to negative 8 would be here and going that way. And greater than or equal to 2 would be here at 2 and going that way. And so you can see that I end up with two separate intervals. So I can write negative infinity to 8 with a closed bracket, union 2 to infinity. And we always do an open parentheses at the infinity. Okay, on number 47, it says that the lengths of the sides of a triangle are given by 3 consecutive integers greater than 1. And so I have some sort of triangle here, and I have the lengths of the sides are going to be a, and then a plus 1, and then like a plus 2, something like that. And so I want to figure out what this value of this a is, and I know it's telling me that a is strictly greater than 1. So it says, what are the possible values for the shortest side if the perimeter, which the perimeter means the distance all the way around, is not to exceed 24 feet. So my perimeter is going to be a plus 1 plus a plus 2. I add up all 3 sides. I want that to be less than 24. And then the other thing I know is since a is greater than 1, I know a is greater than 1, and a plus 1 is greater than 2, and a plus 2 is greater than 3. So I know a plus 1 plus a plus 2 must be greater than 1 plus 2 plus 3. And so now I can solve this inequality for a. And so I get 6 is less than 3a plus 3, which is less than 24. So I can subtract 3 from everything, and I get 3 is less than 3a is less than 24 minus 3 was 21. And then I can divide everything by 3. I get 1 is less than a is less than 7. So a needs to be in between 1 and 7. Okay, the last one here says The results of a political poll indicate that the leading candidate will receive 51% of the votes with a margin of error no more than 3%, so 3% on either side of that 51. Let X represent the true percentage of votes received by this candidate. So what I want to do is write an absolute value inequality that represents an interval in which to estimate X. So that's saying that the distance between X and 51% is going to be less than or equal to 3%. So that's your absolute value inequality. And then if I want to solve that inequality and interpret the answer, that's telling me that X minus 51 is between -3 and 3. And so I can go ahead and add 51 to everything. And so I'm going to get 54 here. And if I do 51 minus 3, that's 48. So the actual amount of percentage of votes that he could receive is somewhere between 48% and 54% would be received by that candidate.